This is going to be a crash course 30,000 foot view as to how to get ISI elites to be showing up on the map. And when I say the map, I'm talking about, of course, on Google Maps. It's some of the best high intent buying traffic. And this is the exact strategies that I use in my lead generation business, just to help show you guys. I know that when we had the interview and we talked about it, I help generate leads for service-based businesses, but over the last 30 days, I've helped bring in over 3,000 calls for the clients who I work with around the country. So a couple of quick things that I'm going to go over in this video is one, understanding with our potential customers, our potential members, who they are and how they find us. We have to understand how people find the gyms or facilities that ultimately they sign up with. And so just think to yourself, hey, if I'm going to hop on Google and I wanted to find a place where I can train, I can work out, what would I look up? And it's going to be a couple of simple terms. There are tools that you can use online. Gym near me is going to be a big one. Fitness gyms, workout gyms. We looked at a couple of the terms and we'll get into that in a minute. And what the results are specifically for ISI Elite in Apex. And of course, this can be brought over to Fort Mill. This can be brought over to any of the 100+ locations for ISI. So when we type that in, I changed my address as if I was searching in Morrisville. And so if we look over to the right here at this blue dot, that's where Google dropped me. And so one of the things that's going to be important to understand with the results that pop up on Google Maps, it's all going to be geolocation based, meaning that depending on what I'm searching up in Morrisville, it's going to be different than if I'm in Cary, than if I'm in Apex. And we can see all of these little red dots. These are all different facilities that Google is trying to show me the most local and authoritative results. And you almost have to think of each of these listings, each of these red dots, like antennas. For ISI Elite, we have to be figuring out, hey, what are the best ways we can amplify the signal of our antenna so that more people can search for us and see us. And for this location in Morrisville, it's showing this is an ad for Orange Theory. But we have Anytime Fitness, there's Orange Theory again, O2 Fitness in Morrisville. So what I'm going to pop over to in a minute is something called a heat map. And this is a tool that shows us, like I was just saying, we have to think of each of these listings like antennas. It's going to show us the radius of each antenna. It's going to show us how strong each antenna is, because depending on where each of these are planted, so where each of the facilities are located, it's going to help dictate where we're seen or where we're not seen. Because what you'll see in a minute with the heat maps is that specifically for the Apex location, we are showing up in some areas. The problem is that it's all the way out here kind of by Jordan Lake, and that's just not developed. Some of the things that will obstruct the signal of our antenna is going to be the strength of these other antennas and how well they're performing. So as you can see, even when I'm zoomed out here, ISI Elite isn't popping up. I have to zoom in pretty close to where we're located at in order to be searched and seen. Even if as I'm zooming in on here, we can't tell. So switching over to the heat maps, this is for the term hit gym near me. And this is actually what we're performing best in. So what these numbers mean, basically in terms of colors, green is good, red is bad. So we have a little bit of green, but like I was just mentioning, it's showing up where we don't really have any developments. There aren't other facilities out there blocking the signal of our antenna. And again, going back to these numbers, the numbers 1 through 3 are the most important ones. What that means is that, see this listing right here for Anytime Fitness, this would be number 1. It's showing up in the top spot. Orange Theory would be number 2. O2 Fitness would be number 3. Anything below that, a customer, when they're going on Google, has to click on more businesses in order to be found. And just because this says 20, this doesn't even necessarily mean we're ranked 20th. It just means 20 plus. So we're buried deep. This is where you go and you hide dead bodies, as where our listing is located for terms like hit gym near me. In terms of some of the other terms that we had run on this, so we have hit gym, we have fitness gyms near me. Again, this is how ISI Elite Apex is performing. Right next to where we are, we can be searched and seen, but this is just helping reaffirm that customers are not finding us through Google, maybe through some of our campaigns on Instagram or some of the grassroots, word of mouth. I would bet anything that's where 80% of the leads are coming in at this point. Another term, the most basic term, one of the most competitive terms, gym near me. We're actually, again, not doing terrible. We do have some green spots. It's just in these rural areas on the west side of town. One of the cool things that we can do with this tool is that we can actually see who is performing well. We can take a look at competition for other gyms in the area so that we can actually start to reverse engineer some of the things that we're doing. So if we scroll down here, we go to averages, we can sort this by top 3. So it's going to let us know who's performing the best. So some of our competition in the area that is taking up those searches on Google would be like F45 Training, West Apex, Expo Life Fitness, Orange Theory Fitness. And if you look at this number right here where it says 88, 66, 169, this is the number of reviews that each of these listings have. So if we actually click right here, we can look at F45 and we can see where they're performing. So this entire south side, they're showing up in the top 3. So again, that means that they're showing up in this section right here for people who are looking up the term hit gym near me. And I bet you that if we started to show up for terms like that, we could get a lot more of our ideal client, our avatar for the facility. And this is, like if we zoom in, all of Apex, what would that do for our location in order to be showing up in that top 3? So what we'll actually do is we'll go over to that listing and we can search for reverse engineer some of the things that they're doing well and some of the things that we can improve on. So one of the big things that I noticed, because I want to save you guys time here, they're listed as a gym. Their Google category is listed as a gym. We are listed as a fitness center. So if I scroll down, we do actually show up at some point. These are all gyms that are showing up across the map more than we are. And also too, while that's pulling up, one of the things that I also want to cover, if you're like, hey, what are these bubbles? What does this mean? Each of these circles, each of these little bubbles, these pins, is like if we were running a Google search for each of these terms. So like I was saying before, location matters. Up over in Cary, we're not showing up at all, but what we can actually do is we can take a look at, okay, who's showing up in Cary. And so over out east, these are the people who are performing well, and this is just comparing, again, our ranking to them. So again, it's just like if we were doing a Google search here compared to if we were doing a Google search down here for the term hit gym near me. Going back to ISI Elite, we're listed as a fitness center, and we only have 23 reviews. So we need to be creating some kind of campaign to be getting a lot more reviews coming in. And this isn't going to be instantaneous. This is going to be like over the next 2 months, 6 months, year, where as we start to bring on more members, making sure that we're getting feedback. And as people are leaving these reviews, we can cover that at another time. But it's really going to be a massive lead driver and really elevating the brand awareness of this facility, because we're in the sticks a little bit, we're out west, so that's just another factor that we're going to have to overcome. If we were located in the heart of Apex, heart of Cary, it would have helped us, but that's something that's out of our control. Hopefully this video helps make sense again as to why we really need to be focusing on creating some kind of campaign for Google reviews, and with showing you some of the results that I've gotten for my clients, what it could potentially bring to us in the future.